EPA degree meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for February 12th, 2021. We're getting a little bit of a break in the action today where we're not expecting measurable precipitation today or tonight. We're just expecting mostly cloudy skies, or partly to mostly cloudy skies, we'll call it today, and then mostly cloudy overnight tonight. We're going to be in between high pressure off to the north here, very strong high pressure, in fact, and then we have this weak system off to our south that is going to be moving away from the region, so we'll just be mostly cloudy, partly to mostly cloudy today, and mostly cloudy overnight tonight. And then when we get into Saturday, this is the first of three systems that we're going to be dealing with over the next 7 days, and the first one is still rather weak. And I maintain that because there looks like there's going to be some very light icing, maybe some light snow far northwest, sleet in between, that kind of thing for Saturday. This is not a real big deal, it doesn't look like, but we're going to watch this just in case, just because it does have some icing involved, and it really doesn't take much in terms of icing to cause problems. But the quantitative precipitation involved with this is really not that high. Let's get over to the NAM and show what that's doing here. You can see as we get into the evening, we have some light freezing rain drizzle down here. This lighter pink here is is indicating sleet, and this is just some light snow showers further north, and that just kind of continues throughout the night here. And there's really not a whole lot. This comes in on Saturday afternoon and moves northeastward, and you get a little bit of sleet in the middle, freezing rain southeast, and some light snow showers further northwest. But if you look at the total quantitative precipitation, if you're going to melt this down and make this rain, pretend for a second that this is just rain, and I showed this in yesterday's video too, here's what the European model has. A lot of generally 0.15 to 0.2, so it's not a lot of quantitative precipitation to cause problems. And this is the upside model. This is probably one of the more aggressive ones. So if you're looking at freezing rain in any of these areas, like down in here, in our southeastern areas, you'll be looking at about half of what this is showing here as falling as freezing rain, okay, or less, okay? So you're probably well under 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain accrual. Sleet's not that big of a deal because it's coming down as frozen raindrops, and that bounce when they hit, you know. So this is not going to be as much of a concern in these areas, and of course certainly not as much up here either, even if you do get some snow on the northwestern side here. NAM is showing a similar idea here with a lot of 1/10 of an inch, maybe even less in some areas, very spotty. So this is not looking like a big producer of any kind of freezing rain or icing here. So this is not the big concern, at least not yet. We will have icing concerns, I think, going into Tuesday possibly, but we're not quite here on the weekend. It's just a minor system, but minor systems can cause problems, and we're going to start seeing that precipitation coming in as early as later in the afternoon on Saturday, but most of you'll see in the evening and overnight, and maybe a few lingering sleet pellets or maybe some light freezing rain or drizzle very early on Sunday morning before this finally clears away. So this is going to move out of here. This is the first of three systems, and it's a weak system. And we get into Sunday, we're looking at skies remaining mostly cloudy if there any very early mixing is moving away. We're going to remain mostly cloudy, and then once we're going to turn our attention to the next system coming in, which is going to be actually coming in on Monday, not really Tuesday. It's going to come in here on Monday. It looks like Monday afternoon or evening, and it has an initial wave of precipitation coming at us here, and this is the same thing that GFS is trying to show with this. And you could have a little bit of maybe some light snow with that, with the initial wave. Here comes the main system though, and it's still showing this system cutting to our northwest here and bringing snow initially, and then changing over to sleet, and then freezing rain. And this could be a more significant icing event because there's more quantitative precipitation to work with. And the reason it's doing this is because you have a primary that's holding on pretty long, going all the way up into the Ohio Valley before it finally transfers. If you remember that system we had earlier in the month that dumped a tremendous amount of snowfall across the area, we still had some mixing across southeast PA, parts of interior southeast PA, and these areas here that held down on accumulations, while areas just to the north were just getting pounded with heavy snow and 3 to 4 inch per hour snowfall rates. It was a heavy sleet fest down here in southeast PA at that same time. And the reason that was doing that is that time we had the same idea here with a low pressure cutting in like this, but we had the secondary low pressure was developing all the way down here. So it had time when that transfer occurred from one to the other, when it came up the coast here, even though it came up, pretty far, and it had time to bring enough cold air in and around it. And when you and this low pressure, the primary was able to dissipate quick enough to allow this to take over, and that gets rid of that warm air wedge. If this is gone, if this system here is gone, this primary low, this is bringing in warm air from this direction here, aloft, a southwest wind flow. A lot of arrows there, but that's the general idea. In this case, we're dealing with a low pressure, primary low pressure, kind of going about the same spot or so, but the secondary low pressure is forming right here. Okay, so you have, and this is still holding on at this point when this is occurring, and it's close enough as bringing this precipitation in here. So you get a warm air, southwesterly wind flow aloft. So the temperatures above, say about 2,000–3,000 feet up, all the way up to about 5,000–6,000 feet. There's a pretty deep layer there of warmer than 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So the snowflake falls through that layer, melts, and then depending on how shallow the layer is below that, that's below freezing, it could be either sleet or freezing rain. The more shallow the layer, the better chance that you're going to have really cold raindrops hit the ground and then freeze once they reach the ground. That's what freezing rain is. So that's why the models are doing this, and that's the same thing the GFS is pretty much trying to sell. Bring some precipitation here on Monday afternoon, and then you have maybe some snow and sleet to start, and then it goes over to some freezing rain. Now, it's not as aggressive as far north with the freezing rain here. It is kind of like a layer of a cake here. You got snow up here, you got sleet here in between there, and then you got freezing rain here, and then rain near the coast in far southern Delaware. This is a plausible idea too, and I think that we're going to see a lot of changes here over the next couple of days, just in the placement of these, the key features that will allow the precipitation types to be different. This is one of the biggest headaches for meteorologists, is trying to figure out boundary layer temperatures and temperatures aloft, and how deep the warm layer is, and how shallow the cold layer is below it. There's a lot of things that go into this with some model soundings we're going to be going through over the next couple of days to try to figure this one out, because it's going to be a headache on Tuesday. So hopefully it's not as icy as shown. We would rather have snow in this case, not just for the kids' sake or somebody trying to get off of work or whatever you're trying to do there. But icing's a bad thing. If you're a homeowner, obviously you know the dangers in that. And then, of course, if you're traveling, that makes it much worse to drive in freezing rain and sleet versus snow. So not as equally, not on the same playing field as far as one being worse than the other, but they're going to be certainly worse in terms of driving conditions and power outages and things like that we have to pay attention to when we're involving freezing rain, especially a significant amount of it. So there is that potential with the system because there has more moisture to work with. We have plenty of time to look at this, but just to show you that the European model, GFS, not really too far apart, but just a matter of the extent of the icing and things like that. These are things we'll have to work out over the next couple of days. But it will be below freezing here on Tuesday in most locations except for the coastal area, so you will be getting some kind of frozen form of precipitation in some form. Okay, whether that's snow, sleet, or freezing rain, or all three. We're going to have temperatures below freezing in the interior and even southeast of 995, it looks like. So you're going to have some frozen precipitation there to contend with here on Tuesday. This goes away later in the day on Tuesday, and then we will have skies turn partly cloudy briefly here on Wednesday before another system comes in and brings another chance of freezing rain that's coming in on Thursday, and this could be generally starting out, it's almost the same exact thing, starting off as snow, going over to sleet, freezing rain. This one, though, has the potential to bring a little bit more warmer air in there as it looks right now, so this might not be as wintry as the other one. The difference between this is you don't have a big blocking high sitting over top of the system. There was a big, almost like a banana high sitting over the top of this system coming in on Tuesday. There's nothing here this time, okay? The high is displaced, so you don't have as much to lock in the cold air. If I go back to Tuesday's system, as this is coming in, look what's above here. You got a big banana high sitting up here over the top, okay? And that's going to keep cold air at the surface, cold air damming, and that's going to keep us below freezing here for this event. So the second one, we might not have that. We'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. Tracks will be dependent on what this exactly does on both systems. The third system, of course, would come in on Thursday. So we have a lot to cover here the next week here. It's just something you just have to keep following along to see how this is evolving throughout the week. And we are going to have a call today out for this particular system here. I know it's minor. I know it's not doing a whole lot, but we still have to forecast the inch and the minor icing accruals just the same way we do as if it was a foot of snow and a quarter to a half inch of ice. Okay, it's not going to be that, but we still have to forecast it the same way and release maps and discussions for that because it is an alert situation. It's just not a major thing here for this first one. That could be coming down the road, though. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for February 12th, 2021. Have a great Friday.